Discuss now on e-invoicing under GST. This is applicable only for the entities whose turnover for the previous financial year means 1920 exceeded rupees 500 crores. Right? Any entity whose turnover is below 500 crores can voluntarily adopt these provisions, but it is not compulsory to adopt e-invoicing under GST. Right? So what is e-invoicing? So there are misconception against again in the trade circles that e-invoicing means generating invoice from GSTN portal or NIC portal and all. Basic simple sense is e-invoicing means where taxable your any taxpayer will upload the details of invoices into a government portal and get a acknowledgement number. Plain and simple, एकदम very simple layman language में you are just reporting your invoice detail to government and government will be issuing a token number kind of thing to you. Against this invoice, this is the token number. That's all.
Okay.
So you will just normally prepare your invoice in the ERP or manually also and then apply for your token number. Token number is called as IRN, that is invoice reference number.
Okay.
The entity which will give the IRN is called as invoice registration portal.
Okay.
Today it is NIC. So government can also employ additional agencies for issuing IRN.
Okay. Okay.
Right. Government has clarified that e-invoice does not means preparation or generation of taxpayer invoice on government portal. Right. It is only intimating to the government that once you have registered your invoice detail, this is the invoice reference number. That's all. Right. So what are the misconceptions that is going on? People are saying that e-invoice is to be generated on any accounting package. So no, it is not like that. They are also saying that this is the system of generating invoice centrally. Means if I have 10 GST number, I'll issue all the invoices from head office. Nothing like that. No. People are also saying that e-way bill is not to be generated in where the e-invoice is generated. No. E-way bill will still be continued in future also. So you will still continue to generate e-way bill in case where you have also generated e-invoice. Right? E-invoice means standardization of invoice, means the invoice format across India will remain same. Sorry, invoice format will differ. You will have your own logo. You can have your own additional information in the invoice. You can print invoice. You can issue invoice by digital signature. All that can happen. Only thing is minimum details which is required on the invoice will come after implementation of e-invoicing. Right?
Yes.
People are saying that debit note, credit note will not be included in the invoice. No, debit note, credit note is also part of your invoice, right? Then industry is saying that e-invoice will enhance the compliance burden, but actually long run it will reduce. It will reduce the cost of invoice issuance. It will also reduce the compliance because your B2B data of GSTR1 will automatically get updated based on e-invoice, right? There are complex process to involve for generation of e-invoice. The statement may not be true because government has given various modes for generation of e-invoice. We'll see once we'll go to the subsequent slides. So this is how the structure will look like. I have taken from a GSTN presentation that how the e-invoicing system flow will look like. In a standard parlance, there is only seller and buyer, right?
Yes.
Seller will issue invoice, buyer will receive invoice.
Yes.
When GST came, the third pillar was added. That GST portal was there. Seller will issue invoice to the buyer and reporting GSTR1, that is GST system.
Yes.
Till now it was that. Now government is saying that there is a IRP in between. So seller, then IRP, then GST and then buyer.
Okay.
Right. So what will happen is seller will upload e-invoice detail, right,
Okay.
on the IRP. IRP will receive the detail and send back the JSON detail to the seller, and seller will then issue invoice to buyer. IRP will also transmit this data to GSTN portal. Based on that data, the GST portal will update outward for seller and inward for buyer. Right? Each and every invoice will have a invoice unique number, and buyer will be able to see the GSTR2A. Right? So this is how the entire scheme of things will happen in case e-invoicing is coming from 1st of October. Right?
Okay.
Now what is the law around e-invoice? So on 30th of July, government issued two notification. First notification number 60, which said that format of e-invoice or details of e-invoice is released version 1.1, and second notification said the increase of the threshold from 100 crore to 500 crore, and also e-invoice is not applicable to special economic zone, right? On 21st of March, government increased the timeline for implementation of e-invoice to 1st of October 2020. E-invoice is applicable for turnover more than 500 crore. It means the smaller entities are not required to implement this e-invoicing. But what has happened is, when this circular was issued on 30th of July, before that many of the companies which were between the threshold of 100 to 500 crores were preparing for e-invoice, and many of the companies have actually got their softwares ready, right?
Okay.
Next, so this is how the GSTR1 and e-invoice will be linked. Left hand side is e-invoice field name, right hand side is your GSTR1 ka field name. Means based on left hand side, GSTR1 will be updated, right? Number one, supply type code, is it B2B, SEZWOP, SEZWP. So in GSTR1, each and every invoice type has a different table, like B2B table 4, SEZ table 6, like deemed export table 6C. So based on supply type code in e-invoice, so like in the e-invoice, I have taken B2B. Automatically table 4 of GSTR1 will get updated, right? Document type, based on document type of e-invoice, like CNDN or invoice, your GSTR1, CNDN or B2B section will get updated, right? Document number, document date. Based on document number, document date in the e-invoice details, GSTR1, B2B. So it means based on left hand side, your whatever details you fill in the e-invoice, your respective table of GSTR1 will get updated. Means you don't have to provide additional information while filing GSTR1. Your entire GSTR1 will get populated, and
that means at the time of invoicing itself, everything will be updated in the system itself.
yes, and based on that, you don't have to additionally upload information for filing of GSTR1, B2B and CNDA, right? And anyway, B2C is your single line item. You are not giving invoice file detail for B2C. So those details you will continue to fill while filing GSTR1. What will happen is, going further, there might be a system where there will be a button that import data from GSTR your e-invoice. Based on that, automatically everything will get filled in. Like today you have like e-way bill. There is a button in the e-way bill section, import e-way bill data. So based on that, B2B and all other will be updated. So now I have structured certain questions for e-invoice. First, how will you know that whether your company is eligible for e-invoice or not? So what they have done is, there is a portal called einvoice.gst.gov.in. In that portal, you can, by clicking this link, you can go and check whether, by providing your GST number, whether you are required to follow e-invoicing platform or not, right? Second is, what are the documents required for e-invoicing? Means which documents or which invoice type will get covered under e-invoicing. Invoice by supplier, credit note and debit note will be covered under GST. So whether if you are under a reverse charge, means you are supplier of reverse charge, means you are a GTA. Whether e-invoicing will be applicable, yes, e-invoicing will be applicable to you also. Like Gati might have a turnover of 2,000 crore rupees, and your their 90% of the turnover is under reverse charge. Then also they will have to come under e-invoicing platform. What are the supply type that are reported under e-invoice? Like B2B, SEZ with payment, without payment, export with payment, without payment, and deemed export. Means your export transaction will also get covered in the e-invoicing platform, right? Next is, who is responsible for generation? The buyer is not responsible, transporter is not responsible. The seller itself is responsible for generation of e-invoice. So
that means seller he himself will be applied. That is complete aware also.
Yeah, the seller means you.
That means your buyer data will be updated there itself.
So based on you upload everything, the two will get updated.
Okay.
Right. So you will have to upload your invoice, debit note, credit note for local, interstate and export transaction. Based on details populated, the system will give you invoice reference number. Right. Now second will be the, like most of the person has apprehension that can I cancel invoice? there can be a mistake while upload, there can be a mistake while making an invoice. So e-invoice can be cancelled if there is no e-way bill.
Okay.
If you have e-way bill, first cancel e-way bill and then you can cancel e-invoice.
Okay. Okay.
If you have 10 line item in the invoice and 9 line item is correct and 1 line item is wrong, then you have to cancel the entire invoice. Part cancellation of the invoice is not permissible.
Okay.
Right. Next, if you already have a e-way bill login, you don't need to create a separate e-invoicing login. So the same e-way bill login will be valid for your e-invoicing portal. Single sign-on system is being enabled, right?
Okay.
So next will be, will you require e-invoice on GST portal or e-invoice portal, right? So business are not required to generate any invoice on GST or e-invoice portal. It only means that you are uploading the details of your invoice on the invoice registration portal, that is NIC portal, right? e-invoice1.gst.gov.in. On that portal you will upload the details and you will get the invoice reference number. You don't have to upload generate any invoice on government portal, right? Next, if I am registered under GST portal but I don't have a e-way bill registration, then you have to take a separate e-invoice registration login credential, right? Based on your OTP, OTP will come on the mobile number and email ID, and you can easily take the registration, right? Once you provide the GST number, all the fields for taking registration on the e-invoicing portal, all the fields will get auto-populated. Whatever is given while taking GST registration, right? So people will ask that can we save the invoice registration number or invoice reference number later on? Yes, you can download the details from the e-invoicing portal. Now, what is the prerequisite for generation of e-invoice, right? Number one, you should have a GST number and you must be registered under e-invoicing system or e-way bill portal, right? Anyone. Document that can be used is your tax invoice, debit note or credit note, right? And you can also use bulk, so you don't require to go into the portal and punch each and every invoice. You can generate 10, 15, 20,000 invoices in one go, right? IRN for 10, 15, 20,000 invoices. So we'll see further that what are the modes of generation of your invoice reference number. Now what will happen is, can buyer verify the authenticity of your invoice? There will be a question that what if you quote any IRN and give it to buyer? So buyer can go into this e-invoicing portal and go to the option of verify signed invoice and just put the details of invoice. System will return the data. So the verification is possible. Next, will the invoice number and all will change, right? So you can issue e-invoice from the own ERP or accounting package, right? Invoice is valid only if it has IRN. So any invoice, if e-invoicing is applicable to you and you have issued any invoice to buyer without generating IRN, the invoice will not be valid. Means while filing GSTR1, you cannot enter that invoice separately. Then that invoice reference will not come to the buyer and buyer cannot take input credit.
That means all the invoices has to be listed in this
IRP,
invoice
reference portal, right. So you cannot issue an invoice separately to buyer and say, I'll get the credit.
Yes, okay.
Cannot. Now what is invoice reference number? Invoice reference number is the 64 character number which is unique for each invoice, right? I'll tell you what is invoice. See the bottom last one. This is the invoice reference number. 01, your GST number, your year, your date, and your invoice number. So what is so like a taxpayer having a GST number 01A 5 time A 4 time 9 A 19N. If they have issued an invoice ABC 0124 on 12/12/2019, so this is, you see here, the IRN will be there. So each and every IRN will be unique for the invoice. So next year what can happen is, for the same year you cannot issue same invoice number. If you issue the same invoice number, the system will tell that this invoice number is already issued or IRN is already allotted for this invoice number. You have to issue a unique invoice number. But for subsequent year, you can still issue the same invoice number, right? For each and every year, you can have the same invoice number, but not for the same financial year. Same invoice number will be
So
repeated.
duplication will not happen.
Duplication will not be happen, right? And second is your invoice length should not exceed 16 alphanumeric, right? Like in GST system. But the one more change here is your invoice number should not start with 0.
Okay.
So that is how the change is there.
But actually, invoices will start from 00001.
No, but after e-invoicing it will not happen.
That means 1000000001. Maybe.
Yeah, so your invoice number should not start with 0.
Okay.
In GST number it can start in GST system.
Okay.
But after e-invoicing, this is additional check is there.
Okay.
Your invoice number should not start with 0
No.
or hash.
Either with alphabet or with numeric.
Right.
And even the slash and dash is also not allowed, I guess.
Not allowed. In the beginning of the character. In the middle and back it can be there, but not at the beginning.
Okay.
So that is how. So in the GST law, section 31 does not restrict invoice to start from 0 or stroke or dash.
Dash, right.
E-invoicing is not permitting now, right?
Okay.
So in case you have any invoicing which is starting from 0, the ERP change has to be done,
Okay.
right? Next. So again, I have already told that once the IRN is generated for a particular invoice, you cannot generate a IRN for the same invoice, right? Now, what are the modes of generating IRN? Number one, offline tool. So government has given offline tool. So there can be entities where the turnover is even more than 500 crores, but they will have 50, 100 invoices per month only. Larger players, they will not have multiple invoices. They only deal with 5, 10 customers on a regular basis. So for them, they can go for offline tool, or they can also go through GSP's API integration, or they can approach to NIC for direct integration with their ERP. So it is not that you have to go through any GSP or ASP. You can also take, or if you have multiple GSTNs, any one GSTN can take this facility and can be extended for other GSTNs. So each and every GSTN is not required to generate or take separate registration for this GSP or direct integration, right? You can also use UABIL API, or you can directly go to invoice reference portal, manually punch the details and generate IRN, or mobile app also. So there are multiple mode of generation of IRN are there. So it's not that only single mode is there, multiple mode is available, right? So once the IRN is generated, it is only valid for 24 hours. So once IRN is generated, you just code that number to your invoice. So can IRN be deleted or cancelled? No, you cannot delete an IRN or modify an IRN. It can only be cancelled. So what will happen is, you have generated an invoice, right? And that dispatch got cancelled. So now you decide that IRN is generated. Now you decide that okay, I'll not use this invoice. So IRN has to be cancelled within 24 hours. Second, that invoice also is to be cancelled. You cannot use the same invoice number again after you cancel the IRN. So that invoice also is to be cancelled in the system, right? So if there is a mistake or wrong entry in the e-invoice, the invoice is to be cancelled. Second, technical angle, in one single invoice there cannot be more than 1000 line items. So if you have supplies more than 1000 line item, the invoice has to be more than one.
Okay.
Right.
Hello. Yeah, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry for the
Yeah.
editing, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
last time ये तो day before yesterday ये तो complete हो गया है ना sir?
हाँ. So there are new participants and this topic was there today also. So
Sir, another topic is there, sir? On this.
No, not now. We have crossed out the 8:30. This is extra time I'm taking.
Okay, this is close. E-invoicing is closed.
Presentation for accounting and other.
Yeah.
But the other topic is not there now. So you can log out, no issues.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So once the e-invoice is generated, you cannot partially cancel an invoice. It is cancelled fully. In case of export or zero supply, there is a special declaration required on the invoice, like supply for export or SEZ meant under a bond or LUT. So that can be printed separately. So just that e-invoice is coming, the declaration has to be printed separately, right? So one more question is there. So in case if e-invoice is there, whether you are required to carry e-way bill or other documents with the conveyance or lorry, yes, that requirement is not changing. So transport of any goods, e-invoice will continue to be mandatory, right? So e-invoice plus e-way bill both are required. Next, so in case of export also, this e-invoice is required. Will it be possible to print the e-invoice? Yes, based on JSON payload and all, you can download and then print the e-invoice, right? Where can you get the details of API integration? So you can just log into e-invoice-api sandbox.nic.in. For larger corporates, you can get access to the API integration even. Friends, thank you for watching our video, and we hope that you enjoyed this learning series GST with Tax Marvel. And don't forget to share, like and subscribe our videos, and do also tell your friends or colleagues who want to make their career in GST or want to get updated on GST aspects. Thank you friends. Thank you.